How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. How safe are Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace's jobs in Chicago? If the team ends on a losing streak, will they be gone? Today, in episode number 94, we are going to be giving our thoughts on the front office of the Chicago Bears and whether or not they are on the hot seat. Welcome back to the show, guys. Everyone listening in on YouTube right now. We are back after a week break. Took the bye week off, but we're glad to be back bringing you guys our Week 12 coverage, kicking it off with this. I am your host, Chris Malpe. Today, I am back in Illinois, as well as my co-host, who I'm joined by today. What's up, Parth? Parth Shaw, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm back home in Illinois. No more in Indiana. I do miss Indiana, but yeah, it's good to be back home in the burbs. Hopefully, me and Chris are gonna probably link pretty soon. So yeah.
Yeah, feels good to be back. A little bit weird being back from school, but we are back here today to talk about Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. It's questions that are being asked by everyone. What is up with Ryan Pace? What is up with Matt Nagy heading into 2021? Obviously, we assume the Bears are going to have another tough go this weekend when they face the Green Bay Packers. But, there was a report came out earlier this week from Pro Football Network's Tony Pauline that said if everything keeps heading downhill, the Bears are believed to want to fire Matt Nagy after the season unless there is a turnaround. There was another report out, I'm not sure by who, that said, actually, I believe it was the Bears blog that said Matt Nagy has endeared himself to the McCaskey family and that his job is safe. So, Parth, I want to start this one off with a pretty simple question. We know that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are probably both on the hot seat right now. If the year keeps trending downwards, do you see either of them returning to Chicago?
I honestly don't, but with the rumors and stuff I've heard, I could see Ryan Pace staying just because of the McCaskey family. So, but I do expect Matt Nagy to go and get fired, especially if the offense stays like this. I mean, he's an offensive coach minded, and if the offense can't get any better and it's ranked almost in the bottom three for every category, there's no reason for Matt Nagy to still be here. He had his chance with Nick Foles and he couldn't do it. He had his chance with Mitch Trubisky and he couldn't do it. So I think that it's over. I know he has been a winning coach, and usually we don't win as much around here, but I don't think he contributes anything to those wins at the end of the day. I think he's a good coach, but the offense hasn't been great at all. So I think he deserves to get fired.
And it seems like the Bears are going to turn back to Mitchell Trubisky this week. That's just what it seems like it's going to happen based on Foles' injury plus how he's been playing recently. And I think that's actually more endearing on Nagy's legacy in Chicago. He brought Foles in to be his guy, and we saw that fail. And by no means do I think Trubisky should be extended. I think he's gone. I actually think Foles will probably be the only one that stays out of those guys. But he failed with the guy that he wanted to come in and hoped could turn things around. And I think that's really going to stain his legacy in Chicago. And yes, I do think Matt Nagy's gone. I mean, you take a look at the Bears' offensive ranks this season. They are bottom 2 in the league along with the New York Jets in points per game, points per drive, yards per game, yards per play, first downs per game, third down percentage, average drive distance, and offensive efficiency. They're 31st in all those categories, second to last only to the New York Jets. And then I also think Ryan Pace might be done in Chicago. I've liked what Pace has done a little bit more. Has he overcommitted money to the defense? Absolutely. But, the defense is good. But at the end of the day, if you're going to overpay, you'll probably have a good unit. The Bears need to focus on the offensive line and the quarterback position moving into 2021. It seems like Allen Robinson's probably going to be gone. So I think they're both gone. And, at the end of the day, this is a business. It's great that Ryan Pace is close with the McCaskey family. That's the type of relationship that we want them to have. But being friends shouldn't save your job in all aspects at the end of the day. So, Parth, heading on into another interesting question. Obviously, there have been rumors that Nagy will stay, that Nagy will go, that Pace has endeared himself to the family and will stay, that Pace will go as well because Nagy was his handpicked head coach. So if one of these guys does end up staying, who do you want to stay?
I think I'd rather have Ryan Pace stay. At the end of the day, he has been a bad GM at times. The O-line should have been improved this offseason, which wasn't. He's messing things up with Allen Robinson right now. He messed up at quarterback. He took Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson. At that time, I guess it looked like a good pick, or Watson should have been the pick, but that's something you can debate on. But he missed on that pick. He's missed on a lot of first round picks as well. Kevin White, a couple other ones if I'm pretty sure. But he has hit his late round picks. He has improved this defense. So there's that plus and minus that comes with it. I think if they're going to stick with one of them, I think it's Ryan Pace. But if they don't stick with any of those two, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Pace has been given 3 chances to bring in a quarterback. He signed Mike Glennon. He traded up for Trubisky in the draft, and then he traded for Nick Foles. All 3 were misses. So I think he should go at the end of the day too. But if they're going to keep one of the two in Pace and Nagy, I think Pace would stay.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at Ryan Pace. He's drafted 1 quarterback in 6 years in Chicago with Trubisky. He's only drafted 2 tackles in 6 years. Tayo Fubaluje back a couple of years ago and Latavius Simmons in 2020. There's been rumors that his GM powers have been reduced by the Bears, but I think Allen Robinson is the most important piece that the Bears need to bring back next year. And it seems like he's fed up with being in Chicago. You've seen him get really mad on the sidelines at games. I have seen an improvement in Ryan Pace's draft strategy recently, targeting production over just pure athleticism and traits. Offensive line neglect and QB failure have hurt him, and as well as guys that he signed who are 30 plus. But I would probably want Pace to stay. If anything, that's kind of a tough choice to have at the end of the day. If things keep trending downwards, I don't think they're going to be here whatsoever. But Parth, we did see earlier this season, obviously, there were reports that they were both going to be here in 2021, that their jobs were both safe. That has changed a lot throughout the season. We've seen reports that the McCaskies are fed up with the state of the team and such. But if the team does turn it around, how well do you think that the Bears have to do for Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy to keep their jobs?
For Matt Nagy to keep his job, the offense has to do a lot better. Again, if Mitch Trubisky plays really well, again, I think that looks bad on Matt Nagy again, so I think that could get him fired as well. So I think Matt Nagy's gone regardless, unless if him and Mitch light up the league and form that connection. But again, that's very unlikely. So I do expect Matt Nagy to be gone. But if he wants to stay, he needs to light up the league with Mitch. Maybe win 5, at least get to the playoffs minimum. If that's
I feel like you've got to win a game in the playoffs as well.
Okay. I think getting to the playoffs minimum would let him stay. I feel like the Bears haven't been to the playoffs as much, so in the last 15 years. So I think just getting to the playoffs would save his job.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation to have. For me at least, I feel like you've got to win in the playoffs. The Bears haven't won in the playoffs in quite some time. And Matt Nagy had a very good first year, but we've seen it go downhill since then. It's unfortunate that we're even having this discussion when this team started off 5-1 and we're only in week 12. That just shows you how quickly it's gone downhill for the Bears. So it should be interesting. I think for Pace, his job's a little bit more secure. But I think if they don't make the playoffs, that both of them are gone 100%. So before we end this one off, Parth, a little bit shorter of an episode today, we got to take a look at a couple of possible replacements, at least for head coaches in the NFL head coaching candidates to consider in 2021. There are a lot of interesting prospects. You would hope that the Bears would probably hire someone who's offensive-minded, guys that shoot out at me. Eric Bieniemy is an interesting one that a lot of Bears fans have been keeping an eye on. Joe Brady, he's the Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator. He was the hottest name in football last offseason after guiding quarterback Joe Burrow to a national title with LSU. There's some other good names, Matt Campbell, the head coach of Iowa State football, who's been doing pretty well. Pete Carmichael, the New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator, as well as someone who comes up every year, and Josh McDaniels, who's with the New England Patriots. So if Nagy is gone, which couple of those names stand out to you as people you would look to hire?
I like Joe Brady. I can't lie. I know he's inexperienced. He's young, but a lot of young coaches have.
We just saw him kill the Detroit Lions in Week 11 with PJ Walker as his quarterback, and he's worked really well with Teddy Bridgewater as well.
Yeah, he's an offensive genius, and he has proven it. I mean, in LSU, that offense was unstoppable with Joe Burrow. We know how great Joe Burrow is. Also, prayers up to him. Pretty bad injury, but hopefully he bounces back. But I think he's the best option the Bears have, a young offensive-minded coach. I think he can work with the next quarterback the Bears can draft. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I think he'd be intrigued in, that he would look into the college draft as well, because he used to be a college coach, so he knows what it takes to produce at the next level.
I mean, we all know that the Carolina Panthers aren't the greatest team, and I'm going to agree with you, Parth. I'm going to go Joe Brady as well as probably someone who I would keep an eye on personally. But just looking at the Panthers offense as is, they've missed Russell Okung and Christian McCaffrey throughout most of the year, and they are still ranked 12th in total offense, 14th in offensive efficiency, and they lead the league in third and long conversions. I would be excited to see what Joe Brady could do with a quarterback of his choice. I mean, you take a look at the quarterbacks available, and I'm sure we're going to make a video on quarterbacks later this week. I think it's bound to happen. Obviously, you got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Kyle Trask, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. There's a lot of really good options, and I would like to see what Joe Brady could do with one of those guys. I think it's really interesting to see what he was able to do with Burrow and turn him into a number one pick and a Heisman Trophy winner as well as a national champion. So it's quite interesting. I personally, as well as you, like Joe Brady. That's a discussion for another day. I'm sure we're going to have more discussion on that as the offseason comes around, depending on what happens to this team. But it seems like Nagy and Pace might be on their way out if they do not get things going properly very soon, as soon as this weekend. So thank you guys so much for listening to episode number 94 of Uncut. Feels great to be back. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, bearddown.com. We're posting columns, articles, and blogs every day, getting you guys ready for the Bears' Sunday Night Football matchup in Week 12 with the Green Bay Packers. Lord bless our souls. Have that not be a bad game. If you'd like to find us on social media, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. We are announcing a jersey giveaway very soon. It's going to be free to enter, so please check out our social medias to find out how to enter that. And finally, you can find the links to me and Parth's social media down in the description. It's been a little bit of a slow week for us. We kind of stepped away for a week, but we're going to get back and active on both Instagram and Twitter. So the links to those are down in the bios or down in our description. I'm a little bit rusty. I apologize, but Parth Shaw, feels good to be back. Not the most heartwarming topic to come back on, but we kick off our Week 12 coverage tomorrow. Meet the opponents with Matt Ramage. That should be a good one. Any last words, buddy?
Yeah, we took like a week off, like Chris said. I guess it was nice to take a week off. Honestly, the Bears haven't been playing great football, so it was nice to just take a week away from it and not be disappointed. And yeah, I'm excited to talk some Packers football this week. Packers-Bears, but the greatest rivalry in all of sports. Don't count the Bears out just yet for this game. I think the Bears play the Packers really tight the last 2 years. I think it's still gonna be another.
It's always. I feel like with that sort of rivalry, it doesn't matter how the teams come in. Yeah. It's just a bloodbath. So
exactly.
Should be an interesting one.
Like years ago when John Fox was the coach and we'd get killed every game.
Hey, we beat him in Lambeau in 2016. We should have beaten him in 2018. So hopefully we can get our revenge in 2020. Should be interesting kicking off our Packers coverage very soon. It's been a pleasure to be your host once again. My name is Chris Malpe. Bears fans, it feels great to be back. Do us a favor, and as always, stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.